Okay, we are now recording. Happy Wednesday, happy Wellness Wednesday, coming to you live every single Wednesday, wherever in the world I am. Today I'm in the Berkshires. I'm so happy to be here behind a white wall. Last week I was in a little phone booth jail cell, but I am really excited to be here and to share with you today. This is our weekly masterclass. So if you've never been here before, you're in for a treat. In the next 20 minutes, I am going to give you a nugget of wisdom that you can immediately take into your life. And so this month ends, and this session specifically ends our month of February, and it also ends our month of Ayurveda. Now, for those of you who are just starting to get into the idea of Ayurveda, don't worry. Alkalo Wellness stands for Ayurveda, women's health balance, so many other things. So you'll always continue to hear me talk about how it relates to this holistic health science and how it can serve you. And so today I had been asking a little bit on Instagram and some other places of what are the questions you have about Ayurveda? What are the questions you have about whatever's on your mind? And the one thing that I saw most was asking about springtime, asking about the change of seasons, asking about seasonal depression, asking about what's going on in my world right now and how can Ayurveda help that? So let's do that, right? So wherever you are today, let's take a minute to ground down, take a deep breath, inhale, big exhale out the mouth, take one more breath like that, inhale, and exhale, release. All right, so we are diving in today. I am so excited about this because springtime is coming. The groundhog officially said that spring is coming early. So what that means is we need to be ready for when the spring comes. Now, I don't know if you've noticed outside or if you live in the Northeast like I do, but you see this heaviness in the mud, this wetness, this just almost like this oiliness of the air, cloudiness in the sky. These all indicate certain qualities of earth and water, right? If you look outside, all you see is just muddy water everywhere, and you see a lot of earth coming, and how much is like kind of just sitting on the surface right now. And so in Ayurveda, we call this kapha. So if you've listened in the past couple of episodes, we talked about what vata, pitta, and kapha are. These are the qualities of kapha. And so we don't need to worry about what that means today, but what we know is that the qualities of this type of season can start to impact us. Now, one thing that I love to address right away is a reminder that how we're feeling is usually, right, not always, but oftentimes triggered by what we're experiencing in our surroundings. Does that make sense? Now, you could easily say, yeah, I have a boss that gives me a really hard time. That's part of my surroundings. Yes, and your surroundings, meaning nature, the weather, the climate conditions, all of those type of factors are impacting our health, our well-being. And so sometimes there are normal things, right? In the spring, a lot of us have allergies and congestion, headaches, maybe stuffiness. That can be really normal. But in our emotions, we don't talk about the mental health side as much, but we can also be feeling stuck, heavy, envious, depressed, jealous. Any of these types of feelings also contribute to this kapha season. So it doesn't help, right, when we're talking about how we feel like blue on a cloudy day, right? We're literally embodying the qualities of how we feel based on what's going on. Now, of course, there are other factors that are going to create our stress or our lack of stress. But what's important is to know that if you're feeling like, hey, this is more than just a one-off thing, or if this is just this feeling that I'm continually feeling, starting to check yourself and figure out, is there something I can do to feel better? So I have great news for you. Since we talked about, or since I received so many questions about Ayurveda and springtime, we're going to spend and continue to go deeper into how you can feel better right now. So a lot of us can even feel, and I would love to know if you're on if you're on a chat, if you're seeing this live, send me a message, let me know. Are you experiencing this heaviness, this cloudiness, even in your mind, this confusion? Any of these ailments, are they holding you back from your best self, your healthiest self, your most vibrant self, your most successful self? Let me know, because when that happens, then we're not living our fullest. And so my job, my mission is to help you go there. So let's take a step back for 1 second, because if we've never met before, I need to introduce myself. And my name is Lauren Baptiste. I am the CEO and founder of Akalo Wellness. I'm an executive wellness coach, and I empower, equip, and give ambitious, really excited, soulful women the tools, the techniques, the mindset shifts to be successful, even more successful in today's day and age. It's really stressful. We have jobs, we have other responsibilities, and my mission and goal is to give you the strategy that you can come out feeling vibrant so that you can do as much to or as close to having it all and without sacrificing your health and well-being. And so me personally, I have over 10 years of experience working in corporate. I get it. I worked the 90-hour weeks for months at end. I burnt out myself. And so my mission and Akalo Wellness's mission is to prevent you from burning out. So that's why we're doing these simple touch points of how we can start to feel better. So here we go. So some tips for spring. So one thing that, according to the science of Ayurveda, we learn often, and it really becomes this message that's driven home so often, is that like qualities increase more like qualities and opposites create balance. So if you have two people who are really, say, spontaneous and just are on the go or, on the fly and just keep changing their minds, then what happens is the two people always have these incredible visions, but nobody ever helps them really ground or make that plan come to fruition, right? Or if two people are always the followers and have no one who's kind of stepping in as the leader, then what can happen is that then it's adding more like, and it's not creating balance. And so we can see that in the weather, right? If I were cold and I go outside in a bikini, that's going to create more cold in me. That's going to create more disease. But in order to balance that, I wear a sweater, I'm wearing a scarf, I'm staying warm. And so that's how we create balance. And so when we're talking and thinking about how we feel in nature, how the environment is right now, heavy, cold, damp, slow, oily, really stable, these like really stuck qualities, what we want to do is invite lightness and maybe a little sharpness and a little bit of other qualities that get things moving. So let me know if that makes sense. And so here I am, I'm going to present a few ideas, really simple, that you can bring into your own life that can have you feeling better. And so these things aren't expensive, they're not hard, you don't have to change your life, but what they're doing is they're helping to lift you up a little bit, and what they're doing is creating these other qualities that are unlike nature so that you can find that balance, that harmony in your life. And so let's talk about the first one. We're going to talk about a couple of physical techniques, ways that you can counter spring. And the first is dry brushing. So in Sanskrit, it's called Garshana. I don't know if you've ever heard it before, but dry brushing, it's these essentially like big toothbrushes made of bamboo bristles, and you brush your skin directly on, uncovered skin. And what this dry brushing does is it opens up circulation. It gets you feeling alive. They say doing dry brushing is just like having a cup of coffee. So it gives you that stimulating, oxygenating, circulatory excitement without the subsequent caffeine crash. So try dry brushing if you haven't before. And I always say with dry brushing, because it can be so invigorating, take it really easy. Maybe start with once or twice a week. You could do it a little bit more in the springtime because there is so much heaviness, but you wouldn't want to do it as much in the fall. And so that's why today's session is all about spring, because we're feeling that heaviness. And so dry brushing can be a really nice way to do that. The second technique I'd love to share with you that you can invite into your life is, and this is more of like a physical thing, is to explore new creative exercise. And so if you're stuck in the same routine, now is a really perfect time to try something new. Break the routine. And so if you have one of those friends who just are unwilling to break routines, it's a good opportunity to kind of see if they'd be willing to do something new, or maybe even gently trick them into going. This time of year, sometimes we need this little extra bit of encouragement to get to doing those things. How easy would it feel to stay in bed this morning? I know when I got up, I was like, I want to hit snooze. I didn't, but I really considered it while I sat in my bed for a minute. So I can feel it with you. I feel it. And so what you need to do, get out of bed, try something new. And so one way you could do it is do the Zumba class, do the CrossFit class, do the aerial yoga class that you've never done that you've wanted to. Now's the perfect time. All right. And one other thing that I'd love to offer up to you is to start eating foods that are a little bit different than in the winter. So in the winter, you're really focused on heavy, oily, and like healthy oils, right? So like ghees or clarified butters or even things like olive oils. You want to be a little less oil heavy and start to shift towards lighter and drier foods. Now, that doesn't mean overnight, I'm just going to stop eating oil and dry foods and I'm just going to eat crackers and popcorn the whole time. But it's a great opportunity to start inviting lighter foods in. Think about springtime, what grows in the spring? Little alfalfa sprouts, what else is growing in the spring? Like spring peas and these like very light, like pasta primavera, like, you know, it's like a very light sauce that has a lot of fresh vegetables in it. Like thinking of things that aren't so heavy anymore. So where like a stew or a pot roast could feel really heavy, now as the weather is shifting into that springtime, inviting lightness is going to be really beneficial. So how does that sound? And one question, so we just got this and I just want to clarify. So when we're talking about what kind of a brush for dry brushing, it is, you literally can type in dry brush and you'll see on Amazon, more often than not, they have bamboo or vegetable bristles and a wood back. So if you type in dry brushing brush or something like that, you'll see it. And so the what would you say, the bristles or like the part where you brush is about the size of your hand and the stick is probably about the size of your arm. So it is a little big, but it's because you have to brush your whole skin. And so if you come to accolowellness.com, on our blog, we have a whole post about the who, what, where, when, whys of dry brushing. So yeah, so you could check that out if you have any questions and feel free to reach out too. But I hope that's helpful. Awesome. All right, so we've talked about a couple of physical things. So we're gonna dry brush, we're going to eat lighter foods. We're going to explore new exercise. So another thing that we can do is start to shift from more of that like physical body to more of that emotional body. And one thing that's really great when we're feeling stuck and heavy, we can feel really unmotivated, lazy, and you're not lazy, right? So often you feel like, well, I'm just lazy and I don't want to do it. The weather is literally pulling us down. And so we need to really break through that. And one thing we can do, one breathing technique I'd love to offer to you, it's called Kapalabhati, and it's a skull shining breath. And what it does is it brings energy up as you breathe to have you feel more alive. So this is my second technique here that I'm mentioning today that's like a cup of coffee. So if you're the type that drinks and you know that you drink too much coffee and you're trying to cut it down, this is an awesome technique you can try because it allows you to drink a little bit less coffee if that's what you're looking to do. So the technique is called Kapalabhati breathing. And so I'll talk you through it really quick and then I'll show you it just so you can see what it looks like. It's a really simple technique. If you're eating lunch or just finished lunch, I'd recommend not doing it. I'm going to show you on a full stomach, but generally don't do that. You want to have an empty stomach because what you're doing is moving things up. And so if you just ate, you know what I mean? You don't want to move things up. So here's what we're going to do. So put your hands on your belly just so you can feel your breath. And what you're going to do is have constant exhales coming out through your nose. Don't worry about the inhale. I promise the inhale comes. It naturally is part of the breathing process. But what you're going to do is focus on breathing out the nostrils. So as if you were panting like a dog, but instead of out through the mouth, it's out through the nose. So it's kind of like this. And you'll see the belly starts to kind of push in. And here's the mouth just to show you. Notice how the belly pushes in on the exhale, but instead you're going to do that through your nose. So you're going to take a deep breath in through your nose. So that's it. So you could do it about 20 times, take a breath or two of a break, and just feel the energy move in, up, and around your body. And then you could do it one more time, 10 to 20 times. And as you build endurance, you can do more. But just doing it for 30 seconds a day, a minute a day, gives you so much energy. And that's why they say your skull shines, because it just brings out this brilliance in you. And so it's really simple. It's these things, right, that we're talking about that have the capacity to change our life just by doing something so simple. So that's my offer to you. And the one other thing, because this time can feel a little lonely, a little sad, a little, right, lazy, you don't want to get out of the house, the suggestion here in the invitation is to spend time with people that you love. Because when we're feeling stuck, our friends, our family, our loved ones help us come out of that heavy mood. So this is a really nice time to call someone you care about, even if you don't want to leave the house, right? You could stay in your pajamas and still call someone you care about, make dinner for a friend, invite someone over, do movie night with popcorn, homemade popcorn, which is good for this time of year for the spring season. So there's all of these things that you can do that are so simple, but that have the capacity to bring up so much joy. So that's it. We're going through these 5 techniques today. So just walking you through once again, dry brushing the body, trying a new exercise class, incorporating drier, lighter foods, and also spicy, a little spicy if you can handle it. And then Kapalabhati breathing, that breath technique, and then spending time with friends and loved ones. If you are feeling like you are stuck, if you are feeling stressed and overwhelmed, if you are not feeling yourself, commit yourself to one of these. What's the worst that can happen, right? So this is a really nice time to commit to something small, easy. Out of these 5, which are you most likely to participate in? Let me know. Message on Zoom, or if you're here on Instagram, let me know. I'd love to hear which one seems most important to you, or most simple to you, or most invigorating to you. I would love to know. But yeah, and this is where we come to the end, but I do want to, I saw a question that asked about seasonal depression, because this time of year, when it's so cloudy, we're not getting the sunshine we need. Often we're inside. So just addressing that really quick, I want you to move your body. So if you're experiencing seasonal depression, a lot of times they'll say emotions are energy that's stuck in the body, and more often than not in the GI tract between the stomach and the large intestine. So in your bowels, there's these little caught stuck areas where the neurons send notes and messages to the brain saying, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm lonely. And so if you're normally a person who's experiencing seasonal affective disorder or SAD or any type of seasonal depression, it's a really great opportunity to move your body. Kapalabhati breathing is really good for that. Just hanging out with friends or that new exercise class can be all you need to shift out of it. But know that if you're feeling that, you're not alone, that the weather has something to do with it. But if you're feeling that it's beyond weather, feel free to reach out to me. Or if you know somebody who's suffering in this way, share this with them. It's a really gentle way to say, hey, I'm thinking about you as it comes to spring. Maybe there's just a little bit more in there that you're hoping that they might hear. So feel free to share, feel free to reach out. This is Wellness Wednesday. I will be here every Wednesday for you at 1 o'clock, always in a different location apparently. Next month is March. It's International Women's Day on March 8th, and we are gonna do International Women's Month. We're gonna go through women's health topics, talking about what you want to hear. So if you have any questions, reach out to me and let me know so I can serve and support you most. But for now, this is Lauren Baptiste signing off. Thank you so much for joining for this week's Wellness Wednesday. I will see you so soon. Take care.